Have you ever looked around your home and thought to yourself, how did it get like this? Not messy, not dirty exactly, just heavy. Like every cushion out of place carries a little more weight than it used to. And somehow, even though it's just you now, the laundry still piles up. The sink still fills. The corners still gather dust. But the real weight isn't in your arms or your knees. It's in that quiet sigh you let out when no one's watching. If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. This video isn't about cleaning faster or harder or perfectly. It's about cleaning softer. I'll be sharing 10 simple, gentle cleaning hacks designed for those of us living with pain, fatigue, or just slower mornings. Because you deserve a home that takes care of you, not the other way around. And maybe, just maybe, you'll walk away not just with ideas, but with a little more peace in your space and in your spirit. A few springs ago, I visited my Aunt May. She was 82 then, living alone, and had just come out of wrist surgery. I expected the usual: dishes in the sink, dust on the piano, a little clutter by the hallway. But when I stepped in, her house was glowing. Not showroom clean, but warm, welcoming, lived in, like a gentle exhale. She smiled when I looked surprised. I do it all with one hand now, she said, lifting a tiny spray mop like it was a magic wand. Turns out, when you can't do everything, you only do what matters. That moment stayed with me. Because cleaning, at its best, isn't just about tidying things. It's about making space to feel alive again. So today, this one's for every Aunt May out there. Every woman who still wants to love her home, even when her body has other plans. Let's begin. Hack number 1. Rinse and soak. Dishes right away. Start small. Save big. There's something oddly discouraging about seeing just 2 or 3 dirty plates in the sink, but knowing deep down they'll sit there until later. And later becomes tomorrow. And by then, the food is hardened, the tea stains have set, and the simple task you could have done with ease now feels like a punishment. I remember my friend Louise, being 6, who once said, "I don't mind washing dishes, I just mind starting." What changed everything for her was one tiny shift. Now, the moment she finishes her meal, she gives each dish a gentle rinse, or even better, drops them in a basin of warm, soapy water she keeps by the sink. That way, when she comes back later, it's a light, soothing task, not a fight. See, when we rinse and soak right away, we're not just making cleanup easier, we're showing kindness to our future self, the one who will be more tired, the one who just wants to sit down with her book and not face dried oatmeal on a spoon. You don't need to scrub. You don't need to rush. A little warm water and time will do the work for you. It's not laziness, it's wisdom. We don't clean to impress the world. We clean to protect our peace. So if dishes have been weighing on you lately, try this small act. You'll be surprised how much lighter your evenings feel. And speaking of lightening the load, let's move on to a trick that takes the weight right out of your hands. Hack number 2, transfer cleaners to small bottles. Make it lighter, do it faster. You don't realize how heavy those bottles have gotten until one day your hand slips. Maybe it's the bleach or the all-purpose spray, and suddenly your wrist aches or your fingers throb for hours after. I used to grip those bulky bottles like they were weights at the gym, not tools for cleaning, until one morning, my neighbor Joyce, who's 74 and has arthritis in both thumbs, handed me a small spray bottle and said, "Sweetheart, don't fight the bottle, let it fit you." Now, every cleaner in my house, glass spray, countertop mix, even vinegar solution, is in a smaller, lighter bottle. I keep one in the bathroom, one in the kitchen, and one near my reading chair. No more dragging supplies room to room, no more aching wrists or spilled drops down my front. It's a simple change, but it shifts everything. Because cleaning isn't about brute force, it's about gentle habits that work with your body, not against it. You can even take it further. Keep a little pre-mixed spray with lavender oil and vinegar. It smells clean, and your thumb barely has to move. One spray, one swipe, done. We don't adjust the world to fit our hands. We adjust our tools so we can still care with ease. And once it gets easier to carry, you might just find yourself wiping that mirror or spritzing the counter without the dread. Now, let's talk about something that picks up dust before your energy even has to. Hack number 3, use microfiber everything. Let the cloth do the work. There was a time I thought I had to scrub hard to clean well. You know the feeling. Knees bent, arms sore, wiping that dusty table for the 3rd time because the cloth just pushed the dust around. But over time, my body taught me a quieter truth. It's not about how hard you clean, but what you clean with. Microfiber changed everything for me. One day, I was helping my friend Evelyn. She's 76, lives alone, and has arthritis in her hands. She handed me a bright blue cloth and said, "Try this, just one swipe." I was skeptical, but the dust on her bookshelf disappeared like magic. No effort, no backtracking. Microfiber cloths don't just wipe, they grab. Their fine fibers hold on to dust, crumbs, even pet hair. No sprays needed, no pressure, and they're soft, so you won't scratch your furniture or your hands. I keep a few around the house now, one near the TV, one in the kitchen, one tucked into the bathroom drawer. Sometimes I lightly dampen it for extra pickup, then toss it in the wash and use it again. Simple, easy, effective. It's a small upgrade, but it gives your body a break and your home a gentle shine. The right cloth won't ask more of your hands. It'll give your hands a little rest. And if you tie one to the end of a broomstick with a rubber band, you can even clean ceiling fans without stepping on a stool. Handy, right? Now that dusting feels like a breeze, let's move on to a cleaning secret you already have in your kitchen and probably didn't know could do so much. Hack number 4, baking soda magic. Clean gently, live freshly. You know, back in the day, I thought a clean home had to smell like bleach. That sharp, stinging scent that lingered on your hands and in your nose long after you were done. But these days, my body asks for something softer. Something that gets the job done without making me feel worn out or overwhelmed. That's when I fell in love with baking soda. Just a simple box tucked behind the flour in the pantry, and yet it's one of the most powerful gentle cleaners I've ever used. No harsh fumes, no scrubbing till your wrists ache, just a sprinkle here, a damp sponge there, and suddenly your stove, your sink, even your fridge feels fresh again. My neighbor, Carol, 73, swears by it. She mixes a bit of baking soda with water into a paste and dabs it onto stained grout. Leaves it for a bit, wipes it away, no pressure, no pain. Her bathroom looks new, but her back, still fine. And me? I keep a little shaker of baking soda under the sink. I sprinkle it into the trash can to kill odors, onto rugs before vacuuming, even into laundry loads to soften towels naturally. No fancy brands, just something that works quietly, kindly. We don't need chemicals to feel clean. We just need to trust what's simple, safe, and steady. It's a small change, but one that feels like a breath of fresh air, literally. And now, speaking of fresh, let's talk about laundry and how just a few tweaks can keep you comfortable without bending or straining. Hack number 5, foldable rolling cart. No more lifting. There was a time, not too long ago, when I thought struggling was just part of the routine, especially on laundry days. I'd brace my knees, grip the heavy basket, and shuffle down the hallway, praying I didn't drop a sock or worse, lose my balance. Sound familiar? Then one day, my daughter brought over a gift. Not flowers, not perfume, a foldable laundry cart with wheels. At first, I thought, what's this little thing gonna do? But oh, how wrong I was. Now, instead of dragging a bulky hamper across the floor or bending over a dozen times to sort clothes, I just glide that cart beside me. Smooth and easy. I wheel it from the bedroom to the laundry room without a second thought. I even fold clothes straight onto it while sitting down. No pain, no pressure, just ease. My friend Gloria, who's 76 and lives alone, told me she finally stopped dreading laundry after switching to a cart like this. It's like the chore shrank in half, she smiled, and my back thanked me. We don't clean to prove we're strong. We clean in ways that protect the strength we still have. Little changes like this, they aren't about being lazy. They're about being wise with our energy. And speaking of wise, what if you could actually prevent laundry from becoming a mess in the first place? That's what we're tackling next. Let's talk about sorting smart so the work feels lighter before it even begins. Hack number 6, one task a day rule. Tiny wins beat big overhauls. There was a time when I thought cleaning meant conquering the whole house in one go. Vacuuming, laundry, kitchen, bathroom, all in a single exhausting day. But at this age, that kind of marathon only leaves you sore, not satisfied. Then I stumbled upon something simple and honestly life-changing, the one task a day rule. Now, I just pick one small job each day. Monday, I wipe down the kitchen counters. Tuesday, I sweep the hallway. Wednesday, I fluff the couch pillows and tidy the living room. Each task takes maybe 10 or 15 minutes. But here's the magic. By the end of the week, my home feels peaceful. And I don't even remember cleaning. My neighbor Ruth, who's 82, said it best. I don't wait for the mess to grow, I just chip away at it gently with a little love every day. We don't clean to fix chaos. We clean to welcome calm, in pieces small enough to hold. And when cleaning feels this soft, this doable, it starts to feel like self-care, not a burden. Next up, let's talk about the smallest change with the biggest emotional return, placing tiny trash bins exactly where you need them most. Hack number 7, small trash bins in every room. Less walking, less pain. You might not think much of it at first, but walking across the house just to toss one tissue or a food wrapper can slowly wear you down. And it's not about being lazy, it's about being realistic. As we age, every extra step matters, especially on days when your knees ache or your balance feels a little off. I used to keep one big trash can in the kitchen. That meant holding on to bits of trash throughout the day, crumbled napkins, empty medication sleeves, tea bags, and promising myself I'll throw it out later. But later would often come with sore feet, or worse, a stumble I didn't see coming. That all changed the day I visited my friend Marlene. She's 74, lives on her own, and has turned her home into a peaceful little haven. I noticed something curious. There were small, pretty trash bins in almost every room. By her recliner, in the bathroom, even by her sewing table. When I asked, she chuckled, "It's my lazy system, or maybe it's just my smart one." She explained how she used to get frustrated carrying heavy trash bags or making multiple trips. Now with small bins in each room, she can tidy up right where she is. And when it's time to empty them, she does it all at once, with no rushing, no overexertion, and no dread. I followed her lead. I bought 3 small bins, lightweight ones with little foot pedals so I don't have to bend down. One sits near my reading chair, another in the hallway, and one beside my bed. It's a small change, but it's transformed my cleaning rhythm. Less walking, less pain, and honestly, less clutter. You'd be amazed how much neater your space feels when trash doesn't have time to scatter or pile up. It's not about having a perfect house. It's about setting up a home that moves with you, not against you. We don't declutter to chase perfection. We do it to protect our peace. Now, speaking of peace, let's move to a habit that builds it quietly, day by day, without overwhelming your energy. Just one simple task a day, and you'll see your space start to shift. Let's talk about that next. Hack number 8, dusting spray once a week. Slow the dust down. I used to dust every other day. It felt like no matter how often I wiped the surfaces, the dust would always come back like a quiet tide that never stayed out for long. And let me tell you, when your hands hurt or your energy dips by 3 in the afternoon, even something as simple as dusting can feel like a mountain. I remember one Sunday morning standing in my living room with a cloth in hand, staring at the bookshelf. My knees already ached from yesterday's laundry. I whispered to myself, is it always going to be this hard? Then I stumbled on a simple tip from my neighbor Ruth, who, by the way, is 81 and has the tidiest home on our street. She said, use a good dusting spray once a week, not just to clean, but to protect. I hadn't thought of that before. I always used dry cloths, but they never kept the dust from coming right back. So I tried it. I picked a gentle lemon-scented dusting spray, one that didn't leave a greasy film, and wiped down my shelves, side tables, and even the tops of picture frames. The result? Not only did the wood shine, but by the end of the week, the dust was still mostly gone. It didn't settle the way it used to. It was such a relief. One spray once a week, and suddenly I wasn't wiping the same spots over and over. Less repetition, less soreness, more time to enjoy my space instead of chasing floating particles. And if sprays aren't your thing, pre-treated dusting cloths work too. They trap dust instead of sending it flying into the air. The key is this: stop cleaning the same things every day. Start protecting them instead. Because when we find smarter ways, we honor the life we have, not the one we used to keep up with. We don't need to race dust, we just need to slow it down. We don't declutter to chase a spotless home. We do it so the space we live in can finally breathe with us. Now that the surfaces are staying clear, let's talk about how we can keep ourselves light too. Just a few minutes a day, and the mess won't ever feel so heavy. Let's move to the next gentle shift. The power of breaking tasks into small, easy chunks. End of day 3-minute reset. Sleep in a calm home. There's a quiet moment each evening, and when the television is off, the tea is warm in your hands, and the house begins to exhale. The day is done. But instead of peace, maybe what you feel is unfinished. The mug on the side table, the blanket half on the couch, the kitchen counter with crumbs from lunch that somehow survived dinner. You glance around and sigh. I'll deal with it tomorrow, you whisper. Because tonight your body is tired, your legs ache, your mind's a little foggy, and after all, you've earned your rest. But what if I told you that peace doesn't require perfection? That a calm home isn't built in hours. It's kept alive in just minutes? And that even 3 minutes, yes, just 3, can change the way your next morning feels? Years ago, I started a ritual I now call my 3-minute reset. Not a deep clean, not a big effort, just a quiet act of kindness toward my future self. It began one night after I had a hard day. My knees were stiff, I was frustrated, and I just wanted to curl into bed. But something about the mess around me made me feel heavier. So instead of ignoring it all, I set a timer. 3 minutes. That's it. In that tiny window, I wiped down the small kitchen table, rinsed out my tea mug, and picked up the newspaper I'd already read. No pressure, no rush, just soft movement. And something strange happened. I slept better. It wasn't about the clean table. It was the sense of closure, like I'd tucked the house in before tucking myself in. That small reset signaled to my body, you've done enough. You can rest now. My friend Evelyn, 76, told me her version is even simpler. I dim the lights, she said. I turn on a little gospel tune, and I just walk from room to room. Not to clean, but to bless. She straightens the pillow on her recliner, folds the blanket on the foot of the bed, places her slippers neatly by the door. When I do this, she said, it feels like my home is holding me, not haunting me. Isn't that the goal? Not to impress guests, not to chase some impossible magazine-perfect image, but to live in a space that feels like comfort, even when the world outside feels overwhelming. Here's a gentle guide if you'd like to try. Set a timer for 3 to 5 minutes, whatever feels doable today. Choose 1 or 2 calming acts. Wipe the stove, fold the blanket, light a candle. Move slowly. Breathe deeply. This isn't about speed, it's about presence. Let the silence be part of the ritual, or add soft music, a hymn, or even a favorite old tune. Over time, this small practice becomes something sacred, a ritual of self-respect, a quiet way to say, I still care. This space still matters, and so do I. Sometimes the most healing acts are the smallest ones, repeated gently, night after night. We don't tidy the night for others. We do it so tomorrow's sunrise finds us already in peace. So tonight I invite you to try just 3 minutes, not to finish everything, but to feel finished enough. And when you wake up to a home that already feels cared for, even in tiny ways, you'll realize you slept a little deeper, you rose a little softer, and the day ahead feels a little kinder. Now, let's carry that same softness into the next part of your gentle routine with a bedside cleaning kit that helps you stay tidy without even leaving your favorite chair. Let's take a look. Your home should hug you back. You know, over the years, I've come to believe something very simple, yet very true. Your home should hug you back, not judge you, not overwhelm you, not remind you of what hurts, but hold you just the way you are. We've spent this whole video talking about little ways to clean smarter, not harder. Small habits, gentle tools, quiet victories. And yet, the heart of it isn't really about dust or dishes, is it? It's about how we feel in our space. Because when you walk into a room that feels calm, when the counters are clear, the air is light, and your body didn't have to suffer to make it that way, that's not just cleaning. That's care. That's dignity. That's softness. That's presence. I remember once a dear friend of mine, Margaret, told me something that stayed with me ever since. And she said, I don't clean for company anymore. I clean so my home knows I'm still here. And I think so many of us reach that point, don't we? Where the world moves fast. Our bodies move slower. The people we used to care for, they've grown, moved on, or passed. And what we're left with is the home. The place that hears our quietest thoughts, holds our photos, carries our routines, reflects our mood, and sometimes shapes it. And that's why all these little changes, from transferring soap into lighter bottles, to using a folding cart instead of carrying a heavy basket, to resetting the house in just 3 minutes before bed. They're not just chores. They're acts of reclaiming comfort, of making your home your partner, not your burden, of giving it the chance to give back to you. We don't clean to impress the world. We clean so we can rest in a space that reminds us we still matter. And you do. You matter. Your peace matters. And your home, no matter how small, quiet, or imperfect, can be a place of daily comfort if you let it. So my gentle encouragement for you today is this. Try just one thing. Maybe it's moving your cleaning spray into a smaller bottle. Maybe it's placing a tiny trash bin near your favorite chair. Or maybe it's simply resetting your space for 3 minutes before sleep. Whatever it is, let it serve you. Let it lighten your body and soften your mind. And if this video gave you one idea that helped, would you pass it on to a friend? You never know who needs that little nudge toward ease. Leave a comment below. What's one small thing you do to let your home love you back? I'd truly love to hear it. And if you'd like more gentle living ideas like these, don't forget to subscribe. I'll be right here, walking this tender journey with you, one soft and wise step at a time. Now take a breath. You've done enough for today. Let your home hold you just the way you are.